The Destiny 2 beta goes open on Xbox and PlayStation 4 on July 21st, so that means anybody who owns an Xbox or a PlayStation can play the beta, try it out, and play mostly the PvP. There's only one PvE strike and one PvE mission, so most of the beta is PvP, so I wanted to make this video explaining some of the basics of PvP, since most of my viewers are Call of Duty related. Maybe some of them haven't played Destiny and this could be their first time trying it out. Wanted to make this video to give you guys some of the basics of Destiny 2's PvP. Starting off with the classes, there's the Hunter, the Warlock, and the Titan. Each of these classes has their own subclasses, abilities, and characteristics. For example, the Titan has more armor but less movement speed, whereas the Hunter has less movement speed and more armor. Or less armor and more movement speed, and then the Warlock has its own I think the Warlock specializes in regeneration, and then it's kind of average on the other ones. The movement speed really doesn't take effect that much, so I wouldn't really worry about getting movement speed too much. I think the easiest two classes to play are the Titan or the Warlock, but the Hunter has the best movement in my opinion, so it depends what you want to do. Each class has their own reasons to play them. Like I said, they have their own super ability, and they all have their own unique abilities. New to Destiny 2 is the abilities where you can hold the crouch button to do something. In the case of the Titan, they create a wall. You can either create a big wall or a wall that's crouch high, so you can crouch behind it and get cover, or the big wall you can just put on a flag and shield people from damage. The Warlock can put down a little area of effect thing that'll buff teammates, giving them extra shields or extra bullet damage, and then the Hunter has two different dodge rolls they can do. Each class has two subclasses you can pick, and 3 grenades and 3 movement abilities. And then there's 4 other little abilities you have. So you really want, or effects. So you really want to read through all of the subclasses and read what your character can do. I recommend trying them all out, but read through your character and make sure you know what your character can do, because there's a lot of things that you might not really think about that they actually have abilities that can do. Like I said, I recommend trying out all these characters, especially if you're someone who's interested in picking up the game. It would be nice to know which character you want to make at the start of the real game. So the beta gives you the chance to try them all. You can have 3 character slots, but the number one thing is you just want to read through all their abilities and pick which one suits you best. I like to pick either the Warlock or the Titan, like I said, just because the Hunter's movement speed isn't that great. Although the Golden Gun, is my favorite super in the game, so they all have their positive and negative effects, and I think the classes are pretty balanced in this game right now. A lot of the abilities in this game have a longer cooldown, especially compared to Destiny 1, like the melee ability, your grenade ability, and then your hold the crouch button ability, like the wall from the Titan. They all have pretty long cooldowns, the grenade especially. In minigames, people just kind of use their grenade randomly, because they get one every life, and it's quite often that you're dying and replenishing your grenades. But in this game, there's a cooldown. Whether you die or not, after you throw that grenade, there's a set amount of time you have to wait to get it back. And it is pretty long in Destiny 2, so you want to use your grenades wisely and don't just use them randomly to try to get kills. I like to use grenades to finish off kills or block people from pushing me. There's various ways you can use your grenades, but you want to just get experience with your grenades and use them wisely, because you're not going to get them all the time. So quite a long cooldown on the grenades in this game. When you make a character, each class starts off with their own weapons. Although you will get weapons just from playing the game, there's not really any weapons that are locked off to a certain character except for the exotic weapons, which I'll get into in a moment. But everybody starts off with weapons, and then you get a reward for each match. At the end of it, you get a reward, and this is generally a weapon or a piece of armor. So it'll be very quickly, you have a lot of options to go to with your weapons. I like to balance my loadout. Starting off, there's the primary weapon, which is a kinetic weapon. That means it has no elemental effect. And then there's the elemental weapon. This is just a weapon that has an elemental effect. So notice these aren't locked off by type. You could have 2 auto rifles equipped, for example. Just one has to be kinetic and one has to be elemental. And then there's also the power weapon slot. These are weapons like the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, the fusion rifle, or the shotgun, or the sniper. So these are power weapons. There's power ammo located around the map, but I'll get to that in a moment. So I like to balance my loadout, my primary and my kinetic weapon, for ranges. So I'll have one for long range and then one for close range, or one for medium range and one for close range. You see what I'm saying? So for example, I might have a pulse rifle primary and then an SMG secondary. That way I'm useful in all areas, and I'm not just locked out into one specific playstyle because I only equip two of the same weapon type, or 2 of the same archetype weapons. I like to balance my loadout based on ranges, and I think that'll give you a lot of options to play with, especially in this game. Positioning is very important, and playing with your team is very important, so you want to have a weapon available for every type of situation. As far as power weapons go, I like to use the fusion rifle or the shotgun. I think the fusion rifle is the best because you get 6 shots with it from one power weapon pickup, and you can kill an enemy in 1 shot, so that's 6 potential kills there if you hit them all in the correct, you had good accuracy and you were in the correct ranges. But the shotgun is also good because you get a decent amount of ammo. A rocket launcher, for example, is very easy to use, but you only get 1 shot from the power ammo pickup, so it's only 1 kill, whereas the shotgun and the fusion rifle has much more potential, but they're a little bit harder to use. So I like to go for the fusion rifle just because I think it's the easiest. Shotgun is also very good. Each class also has their own exotic weapon. The Titan gets a auto rifle with 99 bullets in the magazine that gets faster as you shoot it. It's kind of like a minigun, so as you shoot it, it starts off very slow, and then over time it speeds up, and after you get I'd say 20 bullets or so. It's shooting very, very fast, and you can just mow down enemies very quickly. But obviously it has that charge up time, and your first few shots are very slow, and it takes very long to kill people with them. So this is a cool weapon. The Warlock gets an SMG that makes you deal more damage if you're taking arc damage. I don't think that ability really matters, but this is a pretty decent LMG, and I like using it. And then the Hunters get a hand cannon that's explosive damage, I think. I haven't really used this one much just because I don't like it much. I'm probably going to use it more often in the future, but I have little experience with the hand cannon, so I can't really speak about it, other than the fact that it exists and the Hunters get it. I think the Titan exotic weapon is the best out of the one I've used. It's very good for like locking down areas or being like a support gunner for your team. You really just push down a lot of fire very quickly, mow down people's shields, and make it a lot easier for your teammates to clean the enemies up. There are two game types in the beta, Control, and then there's Countdown, which is kind of like Search and Destroy for Call of Duty. I'm going to talk about Control for most of this just because I think that's the game type that most of you are going to be playing if you're new to Destiny. It's very hard to get used to the game if you're playing Control where there's only 1 life per round, so if you're a new player I would recommend playing Control. This is similar to Domination in the fact that there's 3 flags, but you don't actually get points for controlling the flags, you get points based on kills. So if you have 2 flags, you get 2 points for each kill. If you have 3 flags, you get 3 points for each kill. And then if you have 1 flag or no flag, you get 1 point for each kill. So it really doesn't matter if you only have 1 flag at the moment. You don't need to like risk your life trying to get B, for example. Whereas in Call of Duty, you're just putting yourself at more of a deficit the less time you have 2 flags. So you want to get 2 flags as quick as possible. Whereas in this game, kills are really the only thing that matters. It is important to have 2 flags so you can build your score up quicker. But if you're just suiciding onto the flag continuously, trying to get it won't actually help you. For some reason in the beta, the spawns flip a lot. Like, sometimes my team won't even really be pushing into the base that much, but the spawns will flip, so you have to be very, like, fast on rotations. If the spawn flips and spawns the enemies at A, you either need to quickly kill them or, like, push C and take it to counter them taking A. So you just really need to pay attention to the map. The game type is only 4v4, so there's not, like, that many players that you have to keep track of or worry about. Generally, if someone's flanking, they're the only one flanking, trying to get the back flag. It's very rare that there's multiple, and I don't necessarily think that you capture flags faster for having more people on it. You might, but it doesn't really seem like it to me. Played the game for about 8 or 9 hours or so, so I don't know. It's not something I really noticed, but I could be wrong on that one. In Call of Duty, it's very common in Domination that people will rush the flags off the start and try to take them, but that doesn't necessarily work in this game type because of how long it takes people to kill you. You can't really just force yourself onto the flag and get it like you could in COD and then defend the flag from being on the flag. You want to get the kills first and then take the flag, especially off the start in the case of B. If you flank the enemy team and you're taking their back flag, you could probably take that without really getting any kills because there's not very many people in that area. But if you want to take B, you really have to get the kills first or make them back off because you used a super or something. You're not really just going to be able to run up to the flag and stand on it while defending yourself. You want to get the kills first. Since the score is determined by kills and kills only, you really want to just give up as little dust as you can. Even if you want to get the flags, you need to do this while like staying alive and getting kills. Just running onto the flag and hopping it. Since kills are the only things that get you score, holding the flag doesn't necessarily get you score. Kills are the most important thing. So it's kind of like Team Deathmatch with an objective twist. It's very interesting. I like this game mode a lot, and yeah, it's fun to play. The mini-map in this game is kind of annoying. It's similar to Halo where it shows you people that you're close to unless you're crouching. So crouching will keep you off the mini-map. But the enemies get to know where you are just for you existing, so it is kind of annoying. So it's very hard to pull off flanks unless you crouch, or just sneaky plays in general unless you're crouch walking everywhere. So you need to really play off your minimap in this game because it's telling you where everybody is all the time. But you don't want to only focus on the enemies, you need to focus on your teammates as well. Because team shotting is so important in this game. I think the minimap is just a crucial piece of information in any game. But in this game especially, since it shows you where the enemies are at all times if they're like within a certain range of you. And then also knowing where your teammates are is very important, because if you're alone you might want to like run away from a fight or not take fights in general. But if you have help with you, you might want to bait the enemies and team shot the people because they'll go down very quickly. Similar to Halo, you have a shield in this game, and once your shield goes down you actually die very quickly. It's really the shield that keeps you alive and makes the time to kill higher. So if your shield's down or an enemy shield's down, they're going to die very quickly. You see the shield is the white part above their health bar, and then the red part is actually their health bar. So if you see an enemy with no shields that a teammate just got done fighting, or enemy with no shields in general, you really want to focus on that guy because they'll go down very quickly. And if your shield is gone, you need to get out of the fight just because you're going to go down very quickly. And then also melees in this game. It's very easy to land melees up close. I don't think I've ever missed one. Like, there's extreme auto-aim on the melees, but it doesn't necessarily kill. I think a melee will take 3 hits to kill if the enemy's taking no damage. But maybe like only 1 hit to kill if they have no shield. I think it's 2 to break the shield and then 1 to kill. So if the enemy's shield is broken, you could definitely melee them up close, and that's what I like to do with my SMGs, is use the gun to get their shield down and then melee them to finish. That's generally the easiest way to kill people up close in my opinion, especially if you're alone. If you're playing against someone who's just going for melees and you shoot and then melee, I think you're going to come out with the advantage. Every now and then, I think it's like every 90 seconds or so, power ammo will spawn on the map. There's one power ammo spawn at each of the home flags pretty much. So if you have A, you get a power ammo spawn. If you have C, you get a power ammo spawn. You can take the power ammo from the enemy team, but it is very hard to do. The power ammo is very important, and you need to keep track of it. If you can steal the enemy's power ammo, that's a huge plus. Even if you're not that good with the power weapons, just keeping it out of the enemy hands is effective. Your own power ammo, you need to pick it up if the enemy gets it, just like you taking theirs. It's a very bad situation for you. The power, you need to just stay on top of this. I think 10 seconds or so, it'll let you know, and then like it'll highlight it. But even if you just pass it and it's like 90 seconds left, you'll be able to see that. So if you pass the power ammo spawn, learn where it is, and just keep track of how often it's spawning and let your teammates know where it's spawning, because it's really important like objective to fight over, because the power weapons can really change the swing of a game. If you're like locked out of B and then you pick up the power ammo and you get 3 kills with your fusion rifle, you're easily going to be able to take that flag. So you definitely want to play around the power ammo when you can. The supers in this game are like your ultimate ability. Many games have these, so I don't really need to explain too much about them, but you don't really earn them that fast in this game. You generally get it about once per game, especially if you're like doing good or it's a long game, you'll generally get it once. I don't think I've gotten it twice in any game so far in Destiny 2. It was very common to get it multiple times in a game in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 2 it's much harder to get the super, or like much longer to get it. So you want to use it wisely since you're only going to get it once a game. These are very useful abilities that can get you a lot of easy kills and change the course of the match. But you also need to use it because you only have it once. Like, don't save it forever, because if you get it, it's probably close to the game ending. I've noticed a lot of newer players especially don't use their supers at all. Even when they have it, they just hold on to it forever, waiting for the perfect moment. And that perfect moment might not come, especially because you only get it in the late game, really. So you want to use it when you have it, when you see like an opening for it. Generally, I like to deploy my super in like a safe area and then go to fight the enemy. So I like to get close to them, but behind cover, and then deploy it and go and kill them. Whereas if you deploy it out in the open, you're very likely to get team shot and focused on, because everybody knows that, like, okay, that guy's using his super, we need to kill him. So just be careful with it. It does kill enemies very quickly, but it doesn't make you invincible. Each subclass has its own super and its own ability, so using the super to pick your subclass is a good decision, because, like I said, each subclass has its own. So there's 6 different supers in the beta right now. So there's a lot going on, and you have a lot of different options for how you want to play. If you're someone who's used to Call of Duty, the time to kill is pretty high in this game, and the movement speed isn't that fast. Like, you don't have as much control over your character as you would in COD, for example. Positioning, that makes positioning and team shotting very important, because if you're in like a wide open area with no cover and like no way out, they're just going to be able to easily kill you, especially if they have cover or the high ground, or like they're team shotting you. Team shotting is the #1 thing in this game. I think playing around your teammates and team shotting gives you a huge advantage. It's like that in Halo as well, which is also made by Bungie, so it makes sense. It's to be expected. You really just want to team shot as much as possible. If you find yourself dying instantly and you don't understand why, you're probably getting team shot and you have bad positioning. Because the movement is slower and you have less control over your character, it makes positioning very important. Because if you're not, like, if you're very exposed, you're going to go down quickly and you won't really have a way out, just because you can't really just move around the map that fast. Whereas in CODs, with its advanced movement, you can get around the map very quickly. And even if you're in a bad position, you can quickly reposition and get out of it. But with this game, the jumping isn't that fast, and the just base movement speed isn't that fast. So if you find yourself out in the open, probably going to go down. You want to give yourself an out in a lot of fights. That means like not overextend and play in an area where you can back down if needed. Whereas if you're not giving yourself an out and you have to like run just to get the cover, you're not going to be able to get out of fights, especially if it's a bad situation. You have to fight multiple people. There's no way you're going to win that. Whereas in COD, for example, since the time to kill is very low, you can definitely win out in like 2v1 or 3v1 situations quite often. That's not really going to happen in this game. You have to play off your teammates, and you have to play off like good positioning and using cover to your advantage. This final piece is just going to be about making yourself hard to kill. Since a gunfight isn't decided instantly as it would be in like COD or Battlefield, you need to strafe and use like just like crouching, jumping, those type of things to make yourself harder to shoot. If you're just standing still, it's going to be very easy for the enemy to shoot you, but if you're strafing and doing things to throw off the enemy's aim, you're probably going to win much more battles. The same thing was true with Halo, which was also made by Bungie, like I said. So you want to strafe and use cover and run away from bad fights before they get out of hand. If you notice like 2 guys converging on you, there's no point in probably even fighting that unless you have like a grenade or a rocket launcher or something, or your super. Those type of things change the situation. But if you're just using your primary and you see 2 guys coming up on you, you're probably going to lose that fight. So it'd be better to reposition with your team. Even if you're going to lose B because of it, it's better to lose B and then fight back with your team like a few seconds later, rather than dying and leaving your teammates in a down situation, because if you go down, they're going to have less numbers on the map and the enemy team can converge on them and easily get kills. So if you notice yourself in a bad situation, just get out of there and regroup with your team and then fight the enemies that way. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please comment down below if you have any questions, or if you enjoyed the video, I'll answer any questions you have to the best of my ability. And please subscribe for more future like Destiny 2 videos. I'm liking this game quite a bit, so I'm probably going to be making more Destiny 2 videos when this game comes out.
it up. Enough! This battle was one-sided.